Hi guys, I'm going to call this one the get off the sofa session basically, because this is for all of you, and I've had lots of messages from some of you that are following the videos and loving them, some of you that have just lost your mojo, you're really lethargic, you just can't seem to get the drive to do it. So I'm going to do a session where you don't even have to get your yoga mat out, you don't even have to put your kit on, you can just do it in whatever clothes you're wearing. You sat on the sofa, just get on the floor in your living room, in your lounge. And it's just going to be a real easy session to just loosen everything up, and you never know, it might make you feel like doing another video afterwards, doing a little bit more. So it's a really easy session we're going to do today. I'm going to do it in real time, so you can just follow me throughout the whole thing. I'm going to give you two alternate endings. One for those of you if you're doing this early on in the day, so you want to be energised afterwards, and then another version for if it's late at night and you want to go to bed afterwards, for kind of winding down. But we're going to start. You don't even have to get off your sofa for this, but you can do this seated. You're just going to sit yourself up tall, so we're just going to whiz through our neck drills. So feel that you're relaxing your shoulders away from your ears. You're trying to keep that neutral alignment so your cheeks are above your collarbones. And you can even close your eyes if you want. You can just start to work through your gentle flexion and extension. So just moving back and forth, going as far as you can comfortably go, not feeling that you're trying to force it. And just easing into this. You can work at your own pace. If you wanted to go a little bit slower than I'm going, that's absolutely fine. Maybe hold each position a bit longer. Just noticing how your neck's feeling. And remember, clicking, creaking, crunching, as long as it's not painful, it's pretty normal. It's kind of to be expected. So we're just going to do a couple more, just working forwards and back. And then keep the head down, but just feel that you're pulling your shoulder blades down the back body, and you're going to gently move across the chest. So you're sweeping your chin from collarbone to collarbone. Okay, trying to feel that you're keeping the chin quite close to the chest as you move across. And again, come back to your neutral position. So keep your chin slightly lifted, shoulders are nice and low, and we're just gently rotating, sort of turning from left to right. If you can, try to feel that you're keeping the jaw level, if possible. It doesn't matter massively, but if you're quite good at this, if you've got good range, you're trying to make sure that the jaw stays even from left to right. And just breathe easy, as long as you're not holding your breath during any of this, that's good. Just trying to feel that you're breathing nice and steady, nice and easy, filling the lungs in the empty lungs. Okay, so just do one more either side. And then come back to your neutral. So now we're going to do lateral. So just think you're tipping your ear towards your shoulder, trying to keep that length. So as well as leaning, one thing that we're pushing the head up, so we're trying to really stretch the neck. Remember, the whole of our spine just moves much better when it's properly extended, when we're not kind of slouched and scrumpled into it. So just try and get that feeling of lifting the top of the head up and away from the body. Okay, again, a couple more. We're going to come back to our neutral position. I'm just going to hold a gentle stretch. So drop your nose towards your armpit on one side. Take a few big breaths. As you breathe out, get that feeling of dropping the shoulders, or the head feels like it's hanging a little bit heavier. But just check that you're not allowing the rest of your spine. Yeah, we don't want to slump. We want to feel that we're still quite upright from our tail to the base of our neck. So it's just the neck that we're stretching here. Changing sides, so nose to armpit, and just use the time to notice if there's much difference between one side and the other. Remember, a little difference is fine, it's to be expected. We're all going to be left or right dominant. If it's a big difference, You might want to look at what perhaps is causing that difference, whether it's overuse or tightness there, weakness maybe. Okay, come back to centre. So we're now going to recline, we're going to come down onto the ground. So as I said, you don't even need your yoga mats for this session. You're not going to do anything that requires the grip of a yoga mat. Just make sure that you're comfortable. Let your legs drop down. And we're going to start just by taking some big breaths and just using the breath to kind of really lengthen and open the body out. So make sure you've got enough room alongside you to open your arms fully and also behind if possible. And then just start to think about big inhale, palms are facing up, and then take the arms back. Stretch the body out. And then take another big inhale. And relax your arms down. I'm just going to do that a few times. So work at the pace of your breathing. Yeah, just do maybe 3 or 4 of these. So all you do is you inhale, you're starting to think about lengthening the body, stretch the arms back, pushing out through the fingers, pushing out through the heels. Hold it for a moment. Relax and exhale. And then take another deep breath in. This time as you exhale, you're just going to let your arms drop down. Okay, so do a couple more. So big inhale, stretching back. Lengthen. Big inhale and relaxing down. You can even start to think about pushing out through each leg, so maybe make one leg a little bit longer. Changing the size. We feel that stretch now coming through each lateral line. Okay, relax down. Right, so this time we're going to take a deep breath and you're going to reach the arms back. But as you exhale this time, we're going to hug the knee, the right knee, and we're just going to ease it up into the chest. So just grab hold of the top of the knee, the shin, the back of your thigh, whatever feels comfortable. And this should be a really easy session. Your other leg, if you can, you're just letting it flop, keep it heavy. If you can't keep it down, you can place the foot. But just take a few breaths now. And we're focusing on bringing the bent knee up to either the chest or the shoulder on the right side as you exhale. Your lower back will just feel like it's tipping towards the floor. Head and neck should feel really comfortable. Okay, wiggle your toes. Start to move your ankle, just circles. Okay, circle in both directions. And then take another deep breath in. And let that leg drop. Give it a shake, just so you bounce loose. Okay, so change in size. Big breath. Exhale, draw that left leg up. Just give it a hug. Play around it. Find where it feels comfortable. You know, sometimes we initially bring the leg up, you might find a bit of a tight spot, you might feel a bit pinched. So just play, move around, find that comfortable place where you can relax into it. Start to breathe easy. Wiggle your toes. Circle the foot. Change in the direction, circle both ways. Okay, and then let that leg drop, so big breath in. Give it a shake. Right, this time we're going to take a deep breath in, arms are going to reach back. And as we exhale, we're going to hug both knees up. So cross your ankles, grab the tops of your knees, the backs of your thighs, and just ease the legs up to the chest again for a moment. Start to do that little rocking, massaging action if you want to, if that feels nice. If you don't like that, just hold it still. You just relax into it. Take a few easy breaths here. You might even find after a couple of breaths, you can perhaps grab your feet, grab your ankles, pull the legs a little deeper. Okay, now grab the backs of the thighs, just don't cross your ankles, so keep supporting the legs, but we're now going to point and flex the ankle joints. So think push the toes away, pull the toes towards you, and you can play with this, you can alternate it, you can do it pointing and flexing left and right. Okay, and then just wave the feet left and right, some with your toes or your feet flex towards you, and then some pointing the feet away from you. Okay, and then drop your feet to the ground, stretch the legs down, give them a good shake, wiggle the hips, and then bring the feet back up and just plant them down. So they're a comfortable distance from the body. Spread your toes out. Think about your pelvic movement now. So we're just going to start to rock forwards and backwards, tipping out the back of the bucket, tipping out the front of the bucket. Arms at this point, wherever you want them to be. They can be on the belly, they can be out to the side, you can even just let them flop to the ground behind the head. Whatever feels comfortable, just let your shoulders rest. Okay, and play with the pelvic movement. So obviously if it's feeling quite tense, keep it gentle. If it feels okay, make it a little bigger. Start to squeeze and relax your glutes. Okay, and then come back to centre. So we're just in that neutral position. Now we're going to do our circular motion and our rocking motion. So again, I know most of you know this, but if you do struggle with this one, if you find that you kind of create more of a movement where you're lifting the hips up, we want to maintain contact with the floor if possible. So another way of looking at this, imagine you've got a ball of dough, yeah, and you've just placed it underneath your sacrum, and we're going to squash it down into the floor, and we're going to very gently start to circle and knead that ball of dough or massage that ball of dough. So we're trying to make a pizza shape out of it, yeah, we're trying to roll it around until we're working right to the edges. So big circular motion, start from the centre point, we're keeping a contact with the floor the whole time, and we're just gradually pushing further and further out until we get right to the edges, and then we come back to centre and we just roll it the other way. So we're maintaining contact with the floor the whole time. Okay, and then come back to centre. Right, now we're going to imagine that we're trying to make like a rectangle or an oblong shape. So we're going to start from that centre point, just squashing down, think sacrum, lumbar, lower back area is your connection, and we're just going to roll from side to side. So we're moving laterally, now we're kind of moving from left to right. It's actually a little twisting action that's going on with our spine. And as we're doing this, we're squeezing and relaxing the glutes, we're pushing into the sole of the foot, we're rolling across left to right, so we're lifting and lowering the pelvis. Okay, and then come back to centre, feet together, knees drop out, place the hands, if you want, onto the belly or onto the inner thighs. We just want to get a nice easy stretch, inner thigh, groin area, and releasing a bit of pressure off the belly. So this is a great pose to do a little bit of breathing work. So we're just going to do real easy breathing work here. Hands on the belly. Breathing in fully, breathing out fully. So just feel that rise and fall. Trying to get the breath away from upper body. Remember, we don't want to breathe chest if we can help it. If you find that it's difficult to sense where the movement is or where the breath is, put the hand on the breastplate, the other hand below the belly button, and you're trying not to move this hand, yeah? It's okay to have movement, thoracic area, you know, rib cage, solar plexus area, belly, pelvic belly, but what we don't want is this shoulder girdle, this breastplate chest. We're trying not to let that move too much. We want to bring the breath deeper down. So just feel that rise and fall. Think about lifting your energy levels. As you're breathing in, you're completely filling the lungs, all this oxygen. As we're breathing out, we're getting rid of all the stress, the tension. We feel the body get heavy, we feel the muscles relax. Okay, and then just let the hands drop. Now bring the knees back together. And just gently squeeze them together for a moment. So we're going to step the feet wide and just have that little bit of inward pressure. Lower back is pinned to the ground here, but we're feeling that we're kind of squeezing our knees and thighs towards each other just for a moment, and then plant your feet so they're a comfortable hip width apart. Okay, just let them rest there for a moment. Right, now we're just going to come onto a bit of lateral rocking, so knees side to side. If you want, hands can again either stay on the body, or you can start to open them out this time. You can even start to reach them out the back corners of the mat. But bring the feet so they're close now, knees, feet, thighs all touching, and very loosely, we're just letting the knees fall from left, back up through centre, over to right. Okay, so just get that gently moving. Your legs might only go halfway to start with, that's fine, and might just go somewhere like here. It's absolutely fine if that feels enough. Remember, this is an easy session. If they feel like they want to go all the way to the ground without forcing them, then let them drop. As far as they'll comfortably go. If possible, keeping your upper body in contact with the ground. Okay, and you can start to add a little bit more stretch if you wanted to by squeezing the glutes. You feel that you're pushing the knees slightly down and away from you, just letting the pelvis tilt a bit higher on one side. Or maybe match it, so as your knees go over to one side, you're stretching out through the opposite shoulder. Feel that in the chest a little bit. Just a couple more to either side. And then come back to neutral. Relax your arms, step your feet wide now, so we'll do our upper body, feet wide, knees are pressed in, lower back sinks to the ground. We're just going to reach the arms up, clasp the hands together, have a fidget so that you feel comfortable across your shoulders. Keep your arms gently lifting upwards and try to keep your arms straight and just rock it left to right. Head goes with the movement, shoulders are rocking, we're twisting or we're kind of rolling and moving everything from your waist up. And again, have a play with this, see how far you can go without allowing your legs to move around. You don't want the knees to come apart if we can help it. Try and keep the lower body fairly fixed. Things might click and crunch here, it's quite common, as long as it's not painful, it's perfectly normal. Okay, and then come back to neutral. Give your knees a bit of a hug, draw them up towards you. From here then, we're going to start to come over onto our sides. We're going to do both sides. I'll turn onto my left side first, just so that I'm facing you, but you can go whichever side you want. And just stretch your legs to the bottom of your mat now. So you're just going to support your head. So you can either be out here, stretch your arm, just rest on your bicep, or if you prefer, tuck, support your head and neck, whatever feels comfortable. But gently engage into your abs. Feel that you're straight. So we've got that nice hip alignment. And we're going to just fold this bottom leg back at the knee, just so we've got a base, so we're not going to wobble around too much. Top leg, easy hip flexor stretch. Grab your foot, heel comes towards your bum. We're starting to gently pull the knee back. Now, if you can get your heel to touch the bum, brilliant, that's great range. And you're going to start to draw the knee back and push the hip forwards to increase the stretch. Or think about tucking your pelvis underneath. So you imagine pulling your pubic bone up in the direction of your belly button, or curling your tailbone under. If you can't quite get the foot to the bum, don't worry, just work on that part to start with. Still have the little hip tilt while squeezing the glute, pushing forwards. But we're trying to feel the stretch. Top of your hip flexors coming down the front of your quad. Some of you might feel it more around this area, maybe the belly of the quad, or you might feel it more in the hip flexor. What we're trying not to do here is let that knee go up too high. So think it's about the line of your chest or your shoulder. And just take a few good breaths, relaxing into it. And if you have been sat on the sofa for quite a while, then you might want to hold the stretch a little bit longer. One of the muscles that does tighten up and shorten, as well as tightening, that's the main problem, the fact that it can actually shorten up. And then when you do stand up, it starts to play havoc on your back. It tries to tip you out of alignment. So it is a really important stretch. Okay, and let that leg drop. Right, now just get comfortable again so you can rest down. You can have both knees bent back for a bit of balance here if you need to. We're just going to do some circles with the arm. So reach your arm up. And to start, we just kind of shrug. So we're lifting and lower and just moving the shoulder blade around. And all we're going to do is just draw a little circle on the ceiling. I'm just going to play with that movement. So allowing the wrist and forearm to rotate. So if you've got the range, you might be able to bring this down. So we're sweeping across, we're coming behind. If not, just imagine you drawing that circle on the ceiling and making it a little bit bigger. Okay, and then change the direction. So we start from the ceiling, we're going to bring it the other way. So remember, if you are wobbling around here, just bend your knees back, give yourself less to worry about. Working through that shoulder. Elbows a little soft so we're not locking out the arm. Relax. Right, so we're going to change sides. So you can just roll over onto the other side, but I'm going to sweep myself around so I'm still facing you. So coming over onto your opposite side. Again, get comfortable. Support the head, tuck the arm, whatever feels easy. Stretch the feet down to begin with. Gently brace the abs. Bottom leg's going to fold back. Top leg we're going for our hip flexor stretch. So heel to glute. Push the hips forwards. Hold it and breathe. Nice easy breaths here. So tailbone is tucked. We're checking that we're not letting the knee come up too high. We're thinking about pulling our pubic bone up towards our belly button to increase the stretch. And again, just compare, while you're here, does one side feel a lot different? We're looking for a fair balance between left and right. Now, as I said earlier, we're never going to get that perfect symmetry because we are left or right dominant. There's a lot of things we do during the day where we're going to be dominating our stronger side, our more comfortable side. Let's just keep a check on it, making sure it doesn't get too big a difference. Okay, and then just let that leg drop out. To support upper body, make sure that you feel balanced here. Take the arm, extend up, so just shrug the shoulder, move the shoulder blade around to begin with, just play with that movement. And then we're going to start to draw a circle. Allowing the wrist and forearm to rotate. Make it as big as you want. Check in, one side's going to be tighter than the other maybe. And then change the direction, so start from the top. Little circles. Relax. Let your arms relax. Right, we're going to move back over onto our tummies now. So we're going to come just face down. And we're going to start just really easy with our pelvic floor work, because we normally do it reclined on our back. So for a change, we're just going to do it on the front. So let your arms drop. Have a little fidget, get comfortable. Think about pelvic floor now. So I'm not talking about the pelvic tilt. We're talking about that muscle group, that deep muscle group, bowl-shaped muscle group. We're trying to think about pulling it in an upward direction. So you shouldn't actually see any movement at all. Pelvic floor muscles is an internal muscle. When we're working the pelvic floor, you shouldn't see anything moving from the outside. But we're just going to do a little bit of work on the pelvic floor. So just breathe into the belly, as you were doing earlier. You might feel your lower back rise and fall with that breath. Think about those contact points. So your pubic bone at the front, your tailbone, and then your sit bones left and right. Almost think north, south, east, west, because we've got those 4 points. And we're just going to work on each point. So start thinking about pulling your pubic bone up along the mat towards your belly button. And then relaxing it again. I'm just going to do 3 of those, just working with the pace of your breath. So as you're breathing out, you're pulling your pubic bone up towards your belly button. So just do 3 of those at your own pace. Okay, and then you're going to do 3 tailbone, pulling tailbone up towards the small of your back. So again, no movement, we're not clenching the buttock muscles, we're just trying to get a feeling of lifting the tailbone upwards through the sacrum towards the small of the back. So 3 of those. And obviously, if you do this video several times, you guys know your pelvic floor exercises that we do in class. Just use this time while you're lying down to play around, do a few different ones if you wanted to. 3 lifts, tailbone comes up and then relax. Once we've done 3 of those, we're just going to think about both sides, sit bones, and we're going to try and draw them up together. So this is a little bit of a harder one to get that feeling, but just visualising those sit bones. Imagine you're trying to pull your sit bones up inside, trying to lift them up, and then relax them again. So just 3 of those working together. It is quite tricky to sit bones. This is the one where you're most likely to start thinking about squeezing your buttock muscles. So don't worry if you do that, but obviously if we can do it without, that's better. Okay, and then once you've done that, just completely relax. Start to bend and extend your knees. Think your heels towards the bum, left and right. Okay, and then let the legs relax down. So coming into our real easy back bend to start with, we're going to just keep your feet about hip width apart. Legs, if anything, are slightly rotated outwards, so your toes are pointing away from you. So you've got that outward rotation. You can, if you wanted to, step this even wider and rotate, so you're trying to kind of tilt the inside of the ankle towards the floor. But we want to feel the power position, tailbone is tucked under, and then we just stack the arms. One arm sits on top of the other, rest the forehead, drop your shoulders away from your ears. Take some big, easy breaths into the belly. So I'm keep lifting my head, so I'm looking towards you guys, but obviously you're just going to stay facing the ground, so the back of the neck should feel quite long. And we're just going to take some easy breaths here. Okay, lift the head, walk your feet back in. We now want to have the feet about hip width, tops of the feet are going to rest on the ground. Tailbone tucks underneath, gently squeeze the glutes. We're just going to come up to our easy cobra. So shrug your shoulders away from your ears, arms come in, we prop up off our elbows, our forearms. Some people call this feet pose. Nice easy variation on your cobra. Play around with your hand position. You know, if you find going a little bit wider or a little bit narrow, as long as you're symmetrical, as long as you're even left and right side, and then get a feeling of gently lifting the front chest, the ribs up, still sinking the pubic bone down, lifting, gently lifting the belly in, so we're not kind of overarching that lower back. We want to feel that we're lifting the ribs, trying to bend more into our mid upper back. Gaze again, keep it fairly neutral. So I know I keep turning towards the camera so that you can hear me, but if you can, try and keep your focus slightly forwards and down. At the same time, we don't want to exaggerate that, so we're not kind of forcing the head back. We just want to feel the back of the neck is long. And feel that as you're breathing out, we want to slide the shoulders away from the neck. Legs and thighs should just feel very heavy on the floor. 2 or 3 easy big breaths here. And if it's too intense, just slow it down a little bit. You can support, you could even fold your arms and just prop yourself up here. We're looking for comfort here. We're looking for poses where we can hold them, we can relax into them. And you might find that then you feel like going further up into your full position, which is absolutely fine. Right, and we're going to lower down from here. So I'm going to come into a little outer hip stretch for you now. So this is quite a nice one. We're going to use the floor as our template to keep us lined up. So we come down, but we take our left arm, we reach it forwards. I'm going to bring my right arm in, and I'm just going to use that to help tip me onto my side. Then I'm going to bring my right knee up. And all I'm doing from here, I'm then going to try and roll back onto my throat, if possible. So I'm squaring up my chest, my ribs, my shoulders. And this outer lower leg, you can angle that where it feels comfortable. You might want to have it tucked in. But we want to feel that we're just opening, a little bit of external rotation on this right side. And hold that and breathe 2 or 3 easy breaths. Okay, and then we're going to draw that leg, slowly bring it back down. So changing sides, so I'm going to tip onto my right side. My left leg's going to come up, and then I'm going to slide and roll myself back. So I'm facing the floor, squaring up my hips, then play around with the lower leg on the left side, make sure that it's comfortable. If you wanted to, if your knees are a bit delicate, you could perhaps put a cushion underneath that knee so it's not pressed too firmly into the ground. Okay, and then bring that left leg all the way back down, draw your arms in. Tip your shoulders forwards, have your palms facing up. Give your hips a little shake from left to right. Take a few easy breaths. Right, so we're now going to do a bit of shoulder work from the ground. So start just by bringing the neck into neutral. So you're either going to rest on your chin, or you're going to lift the head and kind of gently tuck the chin in so your nose is pointed out. You just want to feel that you're keeping this space here, that we're not squashing the back of the neck up. Hip bones are level, and all we're going to do, we're going to rotate so our palms are down, and we're going to sweep the fingers forwards, and then we're going to bring them back, palms face up. So if you can see what I'm doing with my hand, I'm kind of rotating my palm to face the floor, bringing my arm in front, and then as I come back, I rotate it back. So it's a little bit of a wringing out action going on as well as a movement through the shoulder girdle. So with this, I'll show you again. Palms down, come forward. If you've got the range to do this with your arms completely straight and fully extended, brilliant. Yeah, that's great. If not, you can do it with a little bit of a bend in your elbow. So it's more of a kind of rowing action. So, play where it feels comfortable for you. But we're just going to do a few of these with the breath. So take a big breath in. Exhale, come down. So keep that going. I'm just going to do a few more of these. So what we're doing, we're using the flat ground as a template again to make sure that both our shoulders are working evenly. Because sometimes when we're doing these shoulder drills, if we're not against the surface, when we're lying on our back or our front, we might find that one arm's actually doing much more range than the other, and it's compensating for the tightness. So when we use a flat surface, it just means that you're more likely to get them working balanced. Just doing a couple more. And then relax. Okay, so the last stretch we're going to do on our front is just a little C stretch. This is a lateral stretch for the sideline of the body. So we start by thinking our hips are squared up, arms are reaching forwards, back shoulder width apart, and all we do, we start to walk both of our feet, kind of inching them around. I'm going to go to my right side first, just so you can see what I'm doing, and then I'll let them rest there. And then I'm going to walk my hands around to my right side, but I'm trying to keep my belly button and the centre of my chest flat to the ground, yeah? So I'm not twisting or tipping, I'm level, my trunk, my torso is level to the ground. Rest the head, hold it here, and you should feel the stretch down the left side, yeah? So if you go to the right, you should feel it on the left side. We're working this lateral line. And it might be shoulder, ribs, waist, lower back, obliques, outer hip, anywhere down that left side. So just hold this. Thinking if you wanted to increase this, if you think you want to go a little further, my left hand is reaching further out. I'm trying to really pull or push my fingertips further up and away to increase that stretch slightly. Okay, and then I'm going to walk myself back to centre. Okay, have a bit of a fidget in the middle, make sure that you're comfortable. Okay, and then we're going to walk across. So both legs are walking around to the left. Both arms are walking around to the left. So we're getting that nice stretch all the way down this right side. Okay, rest on your chin. I do appreciate, ladies, if you've got a slightly larger bust than I've got, make sure that you're not squashing anything. You might want to put a blanket underneath to make it a bit more comfortable. So, you know, have a fidget, adjust yourself as needed. Okay, so as I'm flexing to my left side, my right arm is trying to reach a little bit further forwards and away from me. And then I'm going to come all the way back to centre, hands come round, feet come round, hands are going to come in, roll your shoulders back. Take your time, we're just going to come back up slowly, or we're just going to come up slowly into a box position. Round and release you back a couple of times. And then sit back into child pose. So we let the hips go back towards the heels, arms are reaching out, drop the head, drop the shoulders. Okay, move it back over onto your back. So we come down. Right, so we're just going to do one last little stretch and then I'll show you your two options to finish this off. So we want the knees to be together, we want the feet together, feet close up towards the bum now. Arms are going to reach out through the back corners of your mat, palms are facing up. Take a breath in, both legs are going to tip left, knees together if possible, so we're not kind of coming here, we want to try and keep them stacked, feet together if possible. I'm lifting and repositioning my upper back, so that's flat to the back, and I'm actively stretching my right arm away. So I'm feeling the stretch all the way down, right side, chest, pectoral muscle, ribs, obliques, lower back, outer hip and thigh. Hold that there. Take a few easy breaths. Okay, and then change the side, so bring the head back to centre. Lift the legs. Both legs going to fall over to your right. Have a fidget, knees and feet together, back, rotate, try and get it flat. Stretching out actively, left arm being pushed, or kind of like it's being pulled up and away from the body. So we feel the stretch all the way down this left side. Okay, and then head comes to centre. Relax your arms, knees come back up. Hug the knees up, gently massage. Okay, so if you're doing this video quite early on in the day, or if you just want to be energised for the next couple of hours, you're going to do legs up the wall, or legs on the sofa even, yeah? You can just turn yourself around, prop your legs up against your sofa. If you're doing this quite late at night, as we know, elevating the legs up can increase oxygen to the brain, it'll wake you up too much, so you might find that you have difficulty sleeping. So in that case, you're just going to do your normal corpse pose. Okay, you're just going to relax your arms, relax the legs. Otherwise, just get into your position there, and we'll just do a little bit of progressive relaxation to finish off with. So, as I said, if you are going to do the elevated leg version, you just want to get yourself so that your bum is at the bottom, whether it's at the bottom of your wall or whether it's at the bottom of your sofa, and your legs are just propped up. Let them relax. Arms either here, here, on the body, whatever feels easy. Wiggle your fingers, Wiggle your toes, loosen your wrist joints, roll the hands. Okay, close your eyes. Take a few big breaths, kind of exaggerate the breath, so it's a complete inhale, completely filling the lungs. Pause for a moment. Exhale, empty the lungs. Okay, and then we're just going to gently work through our progressive relaxation. So I'm going to come back into corpse pose, but if you've got your legs up the wall, if you've got your legs elevated, remember if they start to get a bit tingly, just keep wiggling your toes or wiggling your ankles, or gently shaking them every few breaths. So we're encouraging that good circulation flow. But otherwise, start with hands and feet. So we're going to clench the hands, make a fist. We're going to scrunch the toes up. Take a big breath in. Exhale, relax, let them go floppy. Start thinking about your ankles. So we're going to pull the feet towards us. So we feel that tension, lower legs, shins. Hold it for a breath. Relax it, shake your ankles again, maybe bounce your knees. So knee joint, lower leg coming up to upper leg, thighs. We're going to clench the kneecaps, the knee joint, and imagine we're pulling the kneecaps up. So we're squeezing our big quadricep muscles, we're kind of tensing all around here. You can even lock out that joint a little bit if you wanted to. Just get this feeling of hugging your bones with your muscles. So squeeze for a moment. And as you breathe out, we're just going to let the legs drop. Give them a little shake, a bounce, rock them. So moving up to hip girdle now, pelvic belly, glutes. Big breath in, squeeze and clench everything. So we're tensing our bottom muscles, we're tensing our abdominal muscles, we're lifting our pelvic floor. We want a band of tension all around our hips. Really good breath in. Exhale, relax it. Wiggle your hips. Legs are floppy. Moving up to trunk, to kind of rib cage, thoracic area. You can use your hands if you want, one hand on belly button, one hand on solar plexus, but big breath in, exhale, tense, brace. So we're bracing to our abs, our waist. We're also feeling our rib cage hug us. Get this real feeling of kind of closing the body in. Hold that for a moment. As soon as you need to breathe, you can take a huge breath. Feel that you're bursting out of this tension, and then just relax the body. Okay, so arms, just bend your elbows, wiggle your wrists, make a fist, clench the hands, feel that tension spreading all the way up through your forearms, biceps, shoulders, right up to the top, even squeezing across your shoulder girdle, so shoulder blades are hugging you from behind. And then relax it, shake everything loose, move your shoulder blades, have a fidget. Finally the face, so scrunch the face up, tighten your forehead, your cheeks, your mouth. Scrunch your eyes up tightly. Do the opposite, keep your eyes closed, but open the face out, lift your forehead, open your mouth really wide. Get that stretch to the cheeks, the jaw. And then relax and just let it all soften. Rock the head. Drop your arms and just carry on breathing. So I'm just going to leave you here. Carry on relaxing. Breathing in, completely fill the lungs as you inhale. Empty the lungs as you exhale. So I'm not going to end this video, guys. I'm just going to go quiet now and turn it off. So make sure you don't fall asleep on your carpet.